tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We are also podcast on Spreaker. Jeannie Roller is my co-host. Jeannie Roller is in Indiana. I am in Florida, and we are talking about healthcare topics on this podcast, different things that happened to us, which awakened us to what really can happen in the healthcare arena in different facilities, and have found, I mean, my words, Jeannie, and this is all our opinions, it's all research that we do and people that we talk with and interview, that we're just appalled and aghast that this many things are really askew in the medical industry that we can't believe. And dignity and respect are one of the things on either sides that have been thrown out the window, seemingly doesn't matter any longer, which we completely disagree with. Especially the dignity and respect part of the dignity and respect. I want to repeat that 100 times because it doesn't seem like it really matters any longer. And that's what this is about. And one of the things that we did, you and I, when we first met up, talked about so often was to have an advocate with you in your surgery arena, if you will. And that hit every brick wall that you possibly can put up about a topic, because no one in the healthcare arena wanted anyone, if you will, per se, as a witness. You know, certainly for the patient, it was actually the opposite thing. We don't want any witnesses at all for this, and came up with all kinds of excuses on why that wasn't going to fly. I mean, I'm still on board with it. I think I should, if I'm going in for serious surgery, I don't think there's anything wrong with me hiring, say, I don't know, an RN that's schooled in the medical, you know, somebody that's schooled in the medical arena to be specifically as my advocate that knows these are the medications I am allergic to, because that did happen to me, really serious side effects from all of that. And these are the things that I can withstand or whatever, because I can't talk for myself when I'm under general anesthesia. So that never flew with anybody that I ever talked with. But we still have the conversations, the many people that are with us on this whole mission of trying to clean up this healthcare arena or better this healthcare arena for everybody. And that includes the medical personnel that are trying to do a good job. I mean, there's thousands of people in these medical facilities that are trying to do the right thing. And I feel sorry for them having to work under the system and this pressure and with people that are not doing the right thing. So you brought up an interesting topic. It's about the country of Australia, but I mean, it can happen anywhere, about how the what is it? Not the advocate, the person, chaperone that comes into the room for the procedure with you really is totally ineffective, because they're not working for the patient. They're working to protect the doctor and to protect the facility or the medical system itself. So let's talk about that, Jeannie.
Okay. Well, a guy on the Bioethics Patient Dignity Board, TC, brought this article to my attention. It's the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Why One Country Decided Chaperones Can't Stop Predatory Doctors. And it said their biggest surprise was that the frequency in which medical regulators kept these predators in practice. And another surprising one, even more surprising, was across the nation, regulators thought that a simple restriction could ensure private patient safety, and that was to require a chaperone to be present during exams. Mm-hmm. However, they found that some doctors continued to sexually assault, abuse patients, even with the chaperone being present. And it appeared that some of those got a thrill from misbehaving under the close watch of the chaperone. But medical officials in Australia have determined that chaperones are often ineffective, what we have been saying, and that they will no longer ask them to supervise doctors under investigation for sexual misconduct. Instead, they will either suspend an accused doctor or impose restrictions on the gender of patients that they can see. Mm-hmm. Now, Cindy, you and I have been talking about this for a long, long time.
Yep.
A country has finally recognized what we have been saying. Chaperones are ineffective, especially if someone has already been accused of alleged sexual inappropriate behavior. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is just mind-blowing how they can sell that to people, that a chaperone who is paid for by either the medical provider himself, herself, or the medical system will be there for the patient rather than be there for the medical side.
Mm-hmm.
I have never understood how they thought that most people, well, I guess most people do buy it, but I cannot swallow that as being truth.
Well, I bought it. I mean, I bought into that because that's what you're told. I mean, you're blindsided with that. I mean, or is it naivety? Is it, blind trust? That's really was in my instance. But then when something happens and you see it happen as the patient and you say something, those people, and I know this for a fact in my instance, they never worked for me. Not at all. They were always working for the other side. The advocate, you can label it whatever you want. They do not work for the patient. Not in my instance, not in my opinion of what I saw. And I think the same thing for you, Jeannie. And we're not the only ones that are talking this talk and walking this walk. It is not. They're not your patient advocate. They are not.
They are not. No. I mean, we don't sign their paycheck. If we had our own person in there, our spouse or a paid advocate, then that would be a different story because they answer to us. But the chaperones that they yank off the front desk or a medical assistant or whoever, they are not there for our best interest. If something does happen, most likely they're going to stay silent because they don't want their paycheck to end.
I know in my instance, that's what the facility told the people.
Yeah.
And I got it from, people that were involved in the case that were trying to do the right thing, and they're the ones that told me. I mean, I'm not making this up. I can't name the facility. I wish I could, but I can't, and I can't name the doctors. Neither can you. I wish we could, because I don't want this to happen to anyone else, because I know that it has happened. I'm almost positive that it has happened to other people. I don't think me bringing as much attention as I did to the places and the people that I did bring attention to stop them. And I know that the risk management people are the ones that really, in my particular case, were the ones that really ran the biggest interference that I could imagine. It was worse than I don't know. I was just aghast that this is what their job was.
Their job is to protect the facility. It's not to protect you. It's to make sure that you're quiet. And Cindy, I mean, from experience with my husband, we learned that crowds do not offer protection. I mean, there were 4 nurses involved in his, and then there was a crowd later on that night. So, there is not safety in numbers or chaperones because none of them really care.
Yeah, I don't know about the nun. I'm not going to make that leap, Jeannie, honestly. I'm not going to do that, because the thing that makes me sad about it, and you and I have done shows about this as well, is the whistleblowers. That's it. They're done. I mean, in my case, I did have a person, I'm not going to mention, what type of person it was, that absolutely wanted to talk up for me, that knew this, knew it happened, knew it had happened before, I'm sure it happened after, and the powers that be said to this person, you're done. If you open your mouth, you're done.
Yeah.
So it's the movies that they do about it, the things that the articles that you read about it, the stuff that we talk about it, the people that we interview, we see it. When is it going to stop? I don't know, but I'm not stopping talking about it. And you know what? I do need medical care myself. I stay in the medical system. I try to do as much homework as I possibly can. I try to give as much information as I can what I do in certain instances. A lot of times I leave. Now I leave where before I blindly trusted. Now I ask a lot of questions more than I ever knew that I could ask. But when they parade in a chaperone and an advocate, I mean, I just get really nervous kind of thing, because I knew what happened. And doesn't mean that it's going to happen every time that you're in that situation. I don't want to go down that slippery slope, but you got to ask the questions now, and you have to be a little bit wary, or maybe a little bit more than a little bit wary in some of these instances, because it happens.
It does.
It does. And again, for the umpteenth time, I feel sorry for the people that are in the system. It's like anything else. There's bad cops, good cops, bad teachers, bad priests, bad ministers, and there's phenomenal people that are in it for absolutely the right reason. And I think we should have more access to what those people are doing as well, their accolades, and also have the same access to the people that are not doing as great of a job, and they shouldn't be kept in the system like they have been. Anyway, on that note, stay listening to Evergreen Media Network.